Good afternoon, everyone. We are here in another month, and that means another produce feature. So yes, we are on to pumpkins. I feel like we were just in the first week of September. I know I said that last week, but I feel like we just started these Fresh Fridays and we were highlighting apples, and now we're on to my favorite fall thing, pumpkins. So yes, one of my best memories as a child was going on those school field trips out to the pumpkin patches and getting to pick my pumpkin and probably getting some kind of sweet treat that I could take home and sneak from my mom. And I just love fall and pumpkin patches. So this week I got to go out to Happy Jack's Pumpkin Farm in Frankfort, and they're amazing. They go to 3 different farmers markets. They service many of the restaurants in the central Kentucky area with their honey, their pumpkins and their squash and their produce. And they're just very well known, especially for their eggs as well. I was talking to them and they said, yeah, at this point, they're about at 300 eggs a day, and that's not enough to keep up. So they will sell out of 25, 30 cartons at the farmers markets before they even know it. And that is just crazy. And everyone just says that the taste is just impeccable. It's such a different taste, and the yolk and the egg itself is just so vibrant and so different than what you can get at your local Kroger or Walmart or wherever you shop for your eggs. So I've yet to give those a try, but next time I go out there, I will be sure to. But I did get some really nice pumpkins. So I got this pie pumpkin. So it looks like a very miniature, tiny pumpkin, very cute. You could put on your doorstep. But the best part about this is it is perfect for making like pumpkin puree. Those things you get in the can at the store, totally fine. It's a really easy way to do it. But if you want to do your own, this is the way to do it. So these have a really, really thin skin that make it really nice for peeling, which I will get to in a little bit. But what we're going to do with this today is we're going to cut it into quarters, which I will show you to do because it's a little hard. You will cut it into quarters and we're going to roast it, and then you puree it and you get this really nice texture, just like what you get in a can, but it's literally just pumpkin, a little bit of oil, salt, and pepper, since we're doing a savory dish. So I got these, and I'm using these today, but I have to show you. I got these beautiful delicata squashes, and then also this beautiful kabocha squash. So these are very, very delicious. Delicata, I think I've had this last fall probably every day, because when I was in the kitchen, we would make these all the time. So we will get to these in future weeks from other farms. But like I said, we're going to focus on the pie pumpkin because we are making a creamy, cheesy, pumpkin-y mac and cheese. I am so excited. This is honestly a very ingenious way to sneak some vegetables into your kids' mac and cheese because, I mean, the color looks exactly like cheese sauce. And it tastes so good. It's sophisticated enough where adults will be very impressed by it, but kids won't know. And that's my favorite thing. I love that. So let's get into it.
To start, you're going to want to make sure that you have cleaned your pumpkin properly. I used a little bit of dish soap on the outside of mine because mine had mud on it. Now we are going to get to breaking your pumpkin in half. So you're going to want to use a sharp and somewhat heavy knife, and very, very carefully you're going to start trying to get into it. So you can do point down into the pumpkin, and just slowly you can take it out and keep going around until you have broken it in half. You're doing this the same way that you would a cheese wheel, so just be very patient with it. Once you have broken it in half, you're going to take a spoon and scoop out all of the seeds and goopy bits into a trash can, or you can use the seeds, roast them, have them as a snack, but you just want to get a clean inside for roasting of the pumpkin. You could roast it in half as is, but I like to cut mine into quarters or smaller bits so that it roasts faster. And if you're going to do that, just be really careful again, protect your fingers. You're going to want to add your pumpkin pieces to a parchment-lined cookie sheet, and then we're going to cover it in the oil of your choice. I like olive oil, a touch of salt and pepper because we are all about seasoning as we go around here. Feel free to use a pastry brush to distribute the oil. I find it a bit easier than just kind of drizzling it around, but that is personally up to you. And then we're going to throw these in the oven at 400 for roughly 25 to 30 minutes. You're going to want to check on it and see if you can get a fork through it. It makes it easier to peel, and that is what you're looking for. The peeling process actually shouldn't be too difficult. The skin should come very easily from the meat of the pumpkin, but if you do have any difficulty, you can use a paring knife, just as long as you get the skin off, because we don't want any of that in the puree. Once it's peeled, you are going to want to put it in a bowl and then transfer it either to a blender or a food processor. I like using a blender for a smoother puree, just like with the apple butter last week. Be warned that if you are putting anything hot in a blender or food processor, you are going to want to take one of the pieces off the top so that the pressure doesn't build and it explodes with the steam. So just do that and have a towel to cover it, and you should be good to go. Not seen here, I made some cavatappi chorley pasta, which is perfect for mac and cheese, and I used salty like the ocean water to flavor through, but also I only cooked it for about 5 minutes to where I could take a bite and not hear a crunch because it's going to be baked. To start your sauce, you're going to take 6 tablespoons of salted butter on medium heat. I just used the pot that I made the pasta in, saved some dishes, really nice. So you're going to start browning this. So since it's on medium heat, you're going to want to be stirring the entire time. And as you can watch, it starts to get a little bit foamy and you start to see brown bits at the bottom. So just keep stirring and I'll show you the golden brown that you are looking for. I know it sounds funny, but learning to brown butter kind of changed the culinary game for me. I use it on pasta or as a sauce on fish, and I even put it in my chocolate chip cookies now, which makes them so rich and luxurious. And it just seems like a very impressive tool, but it's actually really easy to do. This is what you're looking for with your butter. So it has started to turn a kind of chestnutty color. The brown bits at the bottom are the fat solids, and those are looking so good. What you're looking for too is a nutty aroma. So once you start to really smell the butter, that's when you know it's done. So we're going to immediately add our drained pasta into this and stir around and turn our heat onto low so that the butter doesn't burn. To the buttery noodle mixture, we're going to add 4 ounces of grated Pecorino Romano cheese and then 3/4 of a pound of grated white cheddar cheese. So we're also going to have 1/4 of white cheddar saved on the side, but that's just to top the macaroni. And then give a dash of salt and pepper, and remember to taste as you go because you might need to add a little bit more salt on the way. So give this a good mix, and then we're going to add in a cup of whole milk, and we're going to mix that together, and you're looking for a creamy and silky sauce. But this might not happen yet. You might need to add in a little bit of pasta water. So be sure when you make your pasta that you save water always. That's my rule of thumb. You always save some. So don't add a full cup in. You're going to start little by little until you get the sauce, and it's going to stick to the pasta. As you can see, I had to play around with it a little bit, and you have to wait for it to melt, and like I said, just add more if you feel the desire to, but then you're going to add 1.25 cups of your pumpkin puree mixture. Give that a good mix, and does that not look exactly like cheese sauce? Who would have ever known? It looks as good as it tastes, and that's amazing. Once you get it to a good consistency, you are going to take your baking sheet, and I just used the one that I roasted on and just took off the parchment paper, and you're going to take some butter and grease really well your pan, just because with the cheese and everything, you don't want it to stick or burn, and it makes your life a whole lot easier. Add your mac and cheese to the greased pan and spread it out. Make sure you have it pretty evenly. As you can see, I have a little bit more sauce on the side, so I try and even that out. And then you're going to take your remaining cheddar and top that on your mac and cheese. I'm also going to take some breadcrumbs and sprinkle that all over to get some extra crunch. And then I'm also going to take some raw shelled pumpkin seeds. These are called pepitas. And I'm going to top that for a little bit of green and extra crunchy taste. We are going to put this in the oven at 475 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Since everything is cooked, you're just looking for a melty, somewhat crispy top. And ta-da! Look at how crispy and melty and crunchy that looks. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Be sure to visit Happy Jack's and let me know if you make this recipe.